Recording in progress. Janice Shisler, did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
Janice started over 10 years ago, starting JSpire Recruiting. She works primarily in the credit union space. We were talking a little bit on some of the things that she's dealt with within the credit union space, and I will turn it over to her to introduce who she is and what she does.
Okay. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm Janice Shisler. I am the CEO of JSpire Recruiting. I founded in 2016, and this is our 10th year anniversary working with credit unions on the recruiting side. We do recruitment, board recruitment. We also do resume refreshes, LinkedIn refreshes, and we do coaching and for executives who are ready for their next level of opportunity. And we're based out of Montgomery, Texas, which is north of Houston, Texas.
Okay, so um, coaching, do people seek you out for coaching like they're in senior level positions, they're looking maybe for their next higher role within a credit union space?
Yes, and with that, yes, they are, but they also seek to us when they are looking for a new opportunity. Whether they've been outplaced or they've gone through a merger acquisition and they're looking for their next opportunity. Those are the types of individual or executives that we work with on the coaching and the resume revamping and the LinkedIn refreshes.
Okay, I know we were kind of talking a few minutes before we started recording, sharing with you a little bit about how I've kind of transitioned from credit union CEO, primarily working with just CEOs, to the credit union space and rebranding to Credit Unions Forum. One of the things that I've talked with people within the credit union space is some of the issues when it comes to attracting and then even retaining top talent within the credit union space. To begin with those two parts, I guess for attracting, what are some of the things that you've been dealing with credit unions with their boards when it comes to attracting top talent?
hmm I think it's a lot of education, Greg. Just, sharing with the board of directors, what does the landscape look like today versus what it looked like 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. Our landscape has changed. So educating the boards of what that looks like for retaining and attracting new CEO to come in and take over leadership, but also create succession planning. You and I spoke about that a bit. Succession planning, once a new CEO comes in, evaluate the organization, identify key leaders within the organization, and create a succession plan for the future of the organization. A big part of what boards are looking to seek right now is growth, membership growth. Their membership could be, at a decline with their current members based upon their, whether they're community, federal, seg based credit unions, but they're looking to attract new members as well as growing their asset size and also leading their organization and within the communities that they serve. And that's a big part of what boards are looking for these days.
So we talked about the first part of that, attracting talent. What
Mhm.
about retaining talent? That literally just came up the other day with a person that I was speaking with inside of a credit union who's on their board of their local network with their credit union league.
Mhm.
And it's not just attracting talent, but then also retaining talent. In the credit union space, we've got people that are being poached from banks, from other fintechs, from other financial institutions. Have you had any conversations with boards or board chairmen regarding retaining of top talent?
Yes, I have. And, I think boards are very open to ideas in terms of what those retention tools look like, whether it is through retirement savings. They have all of the retirement 457s, the retirement retentions. Those are from a monetary standpoint. But I also think from an internal standpoint as well, if they're named as part of the succession plan, and the retention rate is going to be a lot more stable than if they are not part of that succession, or they're not part of that growth opportunity for them to take on to that next level.
So with you having run your own recruiting agency for over 10 years now,
Mhm.
do you work with all different types of credit unions, or do you kind of work within a certain asset size, or do you can work pretty much with anybody?
I do. I work across the US. I work from 12 billion to 30 million in assets. And I love that. I also have been working a great deal with credit unions that are under regulatory oversight. And I work with individuals, key leaders that are appointed as workout CEOs in the interim. And therefore, I am recruiting at that level in certain positions within those organizations that are under regulatory oversight. So those are probably the most difficult and challenging ones because
Yeah, I would think so.
they have to be approved by NCUA, anyone that is placed there. So it is, a very finite finesse type of recruiting. But once we get our CEO and our team in there, I also work with the new CEO to help fill other important roles within their organizations. And I've done that. And that is the biggest challenge. And I absolutely love it. And I love that challenge. But
Okay,
those
so
are
so you
really
don't
definitely a big part of what we do here at JSpire as well.
so you don't just hire or recruit presidents and CEOs, you recruit
No.
senior staff as well.
Senior staff, managers and above,
Okay.
AVPs, VPs, management, C-suites, and CEOs. Yes.
So as I tried to network and collaborate within the credit union space, primarily with senior leaders, for let's say managers that are looking to get into that senior leader position, or the senior leaders looking to get their first CEO role. What types of things could you share with them that you would be looking for if they were looking to make their next step?
hmm in looking at, their next step, it is people want to take an elevated role. So if I'm going to recruit somebody at an AVP role, their next step would be a VP or above, or director would be a VP or above. So it's really on-site coaching when you're actually recruiting individuals to go to make a move to another organization. Another big key component of our recruitment is we do a lot of confidential searches as well. And what that is an organization or credit union would hire us to find quality talent, but it's confidential. So the advertisements and all of the recruitment efforts are really done with a sourcing process that we have at JSpire that attracts quality talent. And I think it's in the statement. I believe, Greg, wholeheartedly, is if I'm going to recruit you or another executive to go to another organization, it has to spark my interest, right? I have to get your attention and I have to sell it. And that's what we do a lot of. We also really do a lot of, this would be a great opportunity for Greg because now he can be a CEO where he's never been a CEO, take it to a whole new level, build a name for yourself, and build a platform, and then either retire or move on to another organization. So those are the types of recruitment strategies, if you will, that we like to employ within JSpire Recruiting.
Okay. So you're recruiting, when you talked about a confidential, you mean confidential for the people who are applying with you, or confidential for the credit unions that are having you seek leaders for them?
Confidential with the credit union leaders that we're working with. Mhm. And we do at least a dozen a year on those confidential searches.
Okay.
And they seem to work very well, very well.
So we talked about managers going up to senior leaders or senior leaders going up to CEOs. Well, let's talk about the CEOs.
Mhm.
So, what do you, I guess, and I've had someone reach out to me as the CEO of an organization, and so I'm kind of curious, what is it when you go out talking with the CEO that when you're looking to fill a role, because sometimes they might not necessarily be looking.
Right. They're not. And the passive seekers is what we call them in our recruiting world. They're called passive seekers. So when I reach out to someone or an individual that I have a CEO search for, that I think would be a great opportunity for them to make that next move. You do look at their numbers, their financials, you look at their asset category. What would realistically make sense for them to go from, a maybe $100 million credit union to, a $500 million credit union? Or do they have their sights set on the $1 billion mark? But those are conversations that, you have to have with the CEO and really try to build a futuristic outlook to ensure that that is the right move for them.
So you were talking about coaching.
Mhm.
What exactly type of coaching do you do?
So for outplacements, that's mainly our coaching part of JSpire Recruiting. So what we do here is executives will reach out to us, and we do 2 to 3 sessions of virtual online interviews. We talk about their background, we talk about their experience. We want to know exactly what is the next step for them in their career. What do they expect to gain from that? And a lot of the individuals or executives that come to us don't even have a resume or a LinkedIn presence,
Oh,
or they don't know what their future is going to look like. So through these sessions, it's very enlightening for them to understand where they're going and where their future is going to take them. And then we put together a formal overview of what that sessions look like, and then we help build their confidence level, to be that next executive, to be that next CEO. Their confidence level may start here and go to 10 in a matter of 3 sessions. And I have a lot of executives now who have transitioned from maybe a VP level to a CEO. And it makes me very proud to say that, they were part of what we have built to help them.
so if a senior leader in the credit union space was thinking about looking at opportunities for their next step for a
Mhm.
CEO type of role, how would they go about contacting you to discuss that?
Yeah, we're very active on LinkedIn. We have our website, jspire.com. They can reach out to myself.
Could you spell JSpire for them?
Sure, it's JSpire.com.
Okay.
And I've been remiss to say, how did I create that name, right? Everybody has
Sure.
their own
Yes.
consulting firm, and
I was wondering if it was a play on your name a little.
a little bit. So it's my two initials, JS. And what I wanted to do was inspire people. And I know it sounds, that was 10 years ago when I just started with a book and a pen. And I thought, what could I do? Because I have such a fantastic network of people that I've created, some even friendships over the years, Greg. and know their families and, still keep in touch with them. And I really thought, what could I do to bring a different perspective to recruiting? There's a handful of recruiting firms that all have their names attached to it, but I didn't want that. I wanted it to be a very fresh, new, inspiring recruiting process and practice where they felt engaged, they felt there's a connection, and I can help them, whether it's through my network or if I know of somebody that I can refer them to. And that's how I created JSpire Recruiting.
Okay. Now I'm going to get maybe a little personal.
Yeah.
We talked about the entrepreneurial aspect of things and building businesses. I've built up a few of my own. We were talking before we started recruiting, I mean, recording. Um, so now that you've been doing it for over 10 years and you've been building up your business, um, are are you happy with where you're at? Do you still have to keep pounding the pavement, or have you kind of built things up so you have people, contacting you? How does
Yeah,
that work?
yeah, absolutely. And that's a great question. I have a very strong presence with people that I've known throughout the years. When we started JSpire Recruiting on LinkedIn and on our social media platforms, I have to tell you, we started it from nothing. And we have organically grown our network to over 30,000 people.
Oh, wow.
And that is
Mhm.
incredible because, it is the network, it is the contacts, it is people want to feel that they can call you and you respond to them. That is the beauty of recruiting. And that's how I feel that, we have built our business here on JSpire Recruiting, honestly. And we are very proud to say that all of our growth has been organic growth. We don't pay for ads. We don't pay to have people join our network. It is an organic growth that we have done.
Well, and clearly that's the best type of growth because you're building it on a strong foundation.
Exactly. And it's also referrals, Greg. I really get a lot of good referrals from executives that I have worked with in the past. And one, that comes to mind was he called it a Christmas gift to me. He gave me a wonderful referral with a wonderful client that we are working with. And those are the type of people that I love associating myself with and within this credit union environment.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, you help executives with resumes, with coaching and placement. Before I let you go, Janice, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Greg, for your time today. It was very invaluable, and I appreciate the opportunity to share JSpire Recruiting story, my story. And I will continue to be a big part of this credit union network that I absolutely embrace and will continue for quite some time. And I have a lot of good connections, and I have a great team. And I want to say I have a wonderful network of people that I've known throughout the years. And I will continue to be that individual that is passionate about what we do in our industry. Thank
All
you.
right. Well, Janice, with JSpire Recruiting, I will definitely make sure that we put your contact information in the description, and anything else you'd like to add, you can share with me. We've got a little time before we get that out there, but whatever contact information you'd like, we'll make sure that we put that in the description below.
Thank you. I
All right.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
for your time, Janice.
Thank you. Take care.